Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Saltcast. I am your host, Alex. As always, I am here with Bert and Sebastian, my two co-hosts. This episode we have... Welcome, yes. We are back to the Halo series that we're doing. We're on Halo Reach now. That is the next one in release order that we've gotten to. We skipped a week and we did a bonus, well, not bonus, but another episode of current stuff that was going on that we wanted to talk about.
Basically Avatar.
Yeah, Avatar was going on, so... Well, that was relevant. We hit that, and now we're back on the Halo thing, so we're going to talk about Reach today.
Yeah, it's a good game. I enjoyed it.
Yep, we just finished playing through it a few days ago, so it is fresh in our brains, and we'll kind of do it same way as we've done the other Halo games, go through the campaign and everything, talk about if there's anything relevant within,
Sorry to cut you off, but I'm just curious, is there any cool development history that we should know about?
Reach is the last Bungie game. It was only made because they contractually had to make another Halo game. So they're like, damn, I guess we'll just make something.
I mean, under those circumstances, it ended up being a solid game.
Yeah, that's true. It is, at least as far as the Halo community, it's the second most popular. So, I don't personally see it as my second favorite or even third favorite, but it is the second most popular Halo game.
I think that's kind of pretty close to a general consensus within the Halo community. It is pretty popular. I know at the time that it came out, it was not, though. It was... A lot of people hated on Reach, I remember.
Well, the same thing happened with Halo 2. A lot of people didn't like that when it came out.
Yeah.
Or I forgot it if
that tends to happen. Yeah, that does tend to happen with video games and movies and entertainment stuff. We usually end up looking back on it more fondly than when it was originally released, which I think is kind of the case with Reach, so...
Well, these days, if you ask anyone what their favorite Halo is, it's probably 70% of people will say Halo 3, 20% are telling you Reach, and then the last 10% is split between the others, with usually Halo 2 being third.
Yeah. All right, well, if there's no other development things, I think we will just get right into it then. We'll start with the campaign and the story and the narrative and kind of go through that. That's been
level by level
more of a focus for us. Yeah. For context, this game came out in 2010, so it is 14 years old now.
Yeah,
which is pretty crazy to think about.
Yeah. The last good Halo game.
Yeah, arguably the
14 years
last
ago.
good Halo game. It's not,
and even this one I think was not as peak as the original trilogy, but it was still good.
Yeah, there were some things that felt lacking in this one.
Yeah, definitely. We'll get into it. So let's start off with a little bit of context for everybody who doesn't know anything about Reach. It's it is a spin-off of the main Halo series. It is a first-person shooter like most of the other games. It takes place before the events of Combat Evolved.
It's a prequel.
Within the days, weeks, maybe months before that. Not exactly sure how the timeline works out, but it basically follows a team of Spartan 3s, which are the generation after the 2s, obviously, which Chief is a 2, and kind of follows this team through the fall of Reach, where the Covenant have invaded Reach, and it is the last sort of stronghold of humanity other than Earth.
It's a pretty big deal.
So it's kind of a big deal. Yeah, a little bit of a big deal. We get to play as Spartans again, so we're not an ODST. We're not...
Well, not only is it one of the last planets, it's also the main planet that supports the military of the UNSC. So I think it's 80 to 90% of all of their equipment is made there. The Spartans are made and trained there. ODST are trained there.
It's Reach within the Halo world is known as like the birthplace of the Spartans, specifically the twos. Like that is what they consider to be their home. So Reach has a lot of significance within like the Halo universe.
It's important
for the humans at least. Yeah, it's extremely important, but both strategically and.
I was trying to think of that word.
But
yeah,
even outside of the Spartans, just like most of their guns are made there. Their freaking
Militarily,
vehicles, everything.
Extremely important
They
planet.
literally put all their eggs in one basket.
Yeah, pretty close to it.
Well, that's towards the end when they
You know
only
what?
had
Fair
2
enough.
baskets left.
This mission, this game is not as long as the other Halos within like the mainline games. It's only like 11.
But nothing's as long as Halo.
It's
2.
only like 11 missions, I think. It might be 12. I can't remember. I think it's 11 though.
It's 10 because one of them's just like a cutscene.
Okay,
pretty much.
yeah, that's true. But so let's get right into it. We are dropped.
Could be 9 if you don't count the
Yeah,
last
that's
level
true.
too, which is barely a level.
But anyway, like I said, we are in the shoes of Noble Team, specifically Noble 6, which is the replacement for a member of the team that was killed off. You actually get to see this. Yeah,
Thomas.
You get to see this in one of the cinematic trailers for Reach when it was releasing at the time, which is pretty cool. It is a really good trailer. You get to see how he...
You see
how he
You need
died,
to watch it.
and you see how Kat loses her arm. Actually,
We could we'll do like a mini section on one of our other episodes of all the live action stuff.
But so you were that replacement, Noble 6. That's how you go. What you go as. Very similar to Chief. Doesn't talk much. Kind of lone wolf.
Somehow, this Noble team, Spartan team, is the most popular like Halo Spartan team, probably team in Halo in the whole series because of just how bad they ruined Chief's team in the 343 games.
Yeah, Noble Team definitely was done much better than Blue Team in Halo 5, and
I would say even Red Team is liked more than Chief's team in the games.
yeah, I would argue that as well. So the members of the team, you get introduced to them right off the bat. You've got Carter, Noble 1, who is the leader of the team. You have...
He's blue.
He's blue.
Yeah. You have Kat, who is the like engineer / tech expert. She's like the genius of the team. You've
also blue.
Yeah. You've got what's his name? Emil, who is like the close quarters combat guy. He's got a really cool helmet.
You should go in order. Noble 1 is Carter, like you said, but Noble 2 is June.
Oh, I didn't know which one was which.
Yeah, so Noble 2 is June. Continue with him.
June is the marksman of the team, sniper expert. There's really... June, of all of them, probably gets the least amount of like dialogue and stuff.
Moments.
He doesn't really talk much. And you have an entire mission with him, which is kind of surprising.
You have a mission with all of them.
Yeah, but I feel like June's is like the most like...
Quiet.
he just doesn't talk. Yeah.
Well, it is a stealth mission.
no way.
Well, in lore.
Gameplay.
Who's Noble 3?
Yeah, and game Cat is Noble 3.
Okay, I talked
and then
about
Emil's
Cat.
4.
Noble 4 is Emil. Like I said, close quarters expert, shotguns, and big knives. That's how I would describe him. Noble 5.
The coolest helmet probably in the entire verse.
Yeah, that's true. Noble 5 is George. He's like the heavy weapons guy, explosives expert. And he is actually not a Spartan 3. He's the only member of Noble Team that is not a Spartan 3. He is a Spartan 2, which is the same generation as Chief. So he was trained with the Master Chief and the rest of the Spartan 2s, which is another interesting fact about the team.
He lets you know.
So that opening cutscene is basically Noble 6 arriving to the team and basically meeting everybody and getting sent out on their first mission.
To Holland about, he's like, they're like, I think the rebels have taken down our comm relay. We can't really contact the rest of the colonies or anywhere else on Reach.
Yeah, so Reach has been disconnected from the rest of the colonies, and so a Noble team is sent to go investigate. They assume that it is rebels. We'll find out later that that is not the case. And so then you get onto your first mission, where you're investigating...
Winter contingency.
Yeah, you're investigating the relay tower and everything, and that's where you discover that the Covenant is actually on Reach. And that...
Yeah, but it's pretty cool though, because at first you're like walking around through just like the environments of Reach, and you're like finding these dead Marines and stuff.
They don't see
blowing up
bullet holes
warthogs,
or
and you're like,
anything.
what the hell?
Yeah.
And everyone's like, what? There's no like shell casings, or what? Was there an explosion? What happened here? And then I think it's Emil. He's like, maybe it's plasma.
Not on
and then
Reach.
George is like, no.
Yeah, well, they actually say that it is plasma, whereas they find that beacon and they're like, oh, these are plasma burns or something like that. But yeah, then you progress through that level, and then you are hit with your first
Also,
interaction
just
of the Covenant. And it's,
Slight thing though with Reach, at least in my memory, I think this is the first game with wildlife.
oh yeah, I think it is.
It's an
Unless-
achievement.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
it
kind of
is.
cool.
It is. Yeah, they have like the ostrich-looking
The
things.
MOAs.
The MOAs.
Yeah, but as you were saying, you eventually find the Covenant. They're like,
Oh,
TF,
no.
no.
Yeah. You start battling the Covenant, and you eventually make it to that down relay station. With
It's pretty cool though, because like as they're going through it, you can tell like all the Spartans are like the main guy, like Carter and like Emil and June, like they're, I wouldn't say like unfazed, but they're just like following the protocol, you know. He's like, contact, like there's a part where Carter's like, yep, contact's neutralized to June or something, and then George is the one, he's like, it's the damn Covenant, like he's actually upset about it, where the rest aren't really.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. George has more of a connection to Reach.
He was
too, that, so
raised there from a child.
it's more
Yeah, I
important
know, I'm
to
just
him.
saying, I think that's a cool way to show it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is cool.
Yeah, so the mission ends with you getting to that relay. Kat is working on getting it back up, and you find a scientist's daughter who has been like hiding there and trying to talk to her.
Where she
and
finds a
stuff.
dead body.
Yeah.
And they like look over it, and Six finds something.
Yeah, gives it to Kat. You don't know what it is until later, and then
George is like talking to the daughter.
yeah, and then some elites bust in, and they're a lot different than elites that we've seen before. They've got fancy looking armor, and
Yes,
they're a lot
that's
stronger.
another great. That's something great Reach did with like expanding the elites. I feel like, because before you had honor guard and elite. That was it.
Yeah.
Now we have like so many different like ranks of elite. It's so cool.
Yeah, it is cool. It adds another layer to the Covenant,
What do
and
they call
specifically the
these new
elites.
elites?
They're called.
Well, there's like a bunch of different kinds, but
Okay.
these specific ones are zealot.
They're basically like special forces version of elites. They go in and like try to get high value targets or things like that.
Information. Just go in,
Okay.
steal something, and get out.
Yeah.
Like the insurance
It's pretty
squad
cool.
or something?
So then, yeah, you end up chasing those elites. You kill two of them. One of them does get away. And eventually the mission ends with Carter getting in touch with Commander Holland, or Colonel Holland, who is in charge, I guess, of like the military presence on Reach, is what it seems like. And lets them know that the Covenant is on Reach. So that starts off the winter contingency, which is like their protocol for if the Covenant were ever there. And so it's basically
They have
the
that
shit has hit the
awesome
fan.
line.
The shit has
Yeah,
hit
they
the
have
fan.
that awesome line too at the end of the level.
Which is?
Do you not remember anything? Oh my god. At the end of the level, when he's telling him, he's like, it's a winter contingency, and Holland's like, may God help us all.
Oh, okay, yeah, that is a good line. So then we move on to the next mission, Oni Sword Base. Noble Team has now been redeployed to help protect an important Oni base with a lot of sensitive information and data that they need to make sure it doesn't fall into the Covenant hands. There's a Covenant Corvette that is bombarding the place, and Noble Team needs to help get the sword-based defenses back online. So that one basically plays out how you would expect. You have to go and like activate 2 anti-air batteries or relays or something.
Well, one is a comms relay and the other one is an anti-air battery.
Yeah. So you do that with Cat, and you eventually fight your way through Sword Base, make it to the top of it, fight off some Banshees, and clear the way. So that
Banshee part is pretty fun, though.
Yeah. And you clear the way so that the
long swords.
Yeah, that's what they are. The long swords can come in and mark the Corvette, and the Corvette gets taken down, which is pretty cool. It's a pretty cool scene. It makes you feel like you're doing a good job too. The game does a good job of leading you on.
You're making a difference.
Yeah,
you're like, hell yeah, one down.
Yeah. So
George is he's like, beautiful, ain't it?
Yeah.
Then you get called by Halsey.
That's a big shock to everyone.
Yep.
This whole game is so like hype for people who like were into Halo at the time, because this game is basically just a bunch of stuff that you always heard about but never thought you would see.
That's true.
Yeah. I think that's why
like
in the moment of playing it for the first time, I really enjoyed it more than going back and playing it now.
Because like you always heard about Reach and other Spartans and Halsey, and then just the small fact of playing through a Halo game and there being other Spartans with you was so badass. Yeah. You were like, holy shit.
And they were actually useful.
This is a whole team of Spartans.
Yeah, they're actually not incompetent.
Most of them.
Yeah.
Cat's a pretty bad driver, and June snipes you in the back a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, that does happen. So yeah, that's how that mission. You end up meeting with Halsey. You have a little like back and forth with her. Carter and her get into it, and that
is a great scene.
Yeah, that is a good scene. The two of them go head to head. That is
well, because she was like alerted that Cat tried to access the data on the thing that they had found on the scientist in the earlier mission.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I could send you to the brig for interfering with my classified work. And then that's when Carter jumps in, and then he has like some badass lines too, and he's like, maybe you'd like to join her. Aren't you? Like you're aware of civilian interference with the Spartan deployment.
Yeah. So he basically
it's just a really badass line.
And neither of them back down. So Carter ends up walking out. And you get a nice little moment between Halsey and George, because Halsey is the creator of the Spartan 2 program and has a close relationship with all of the twos. George calls her mom.
It's mom. It's ma'am.
Adds another.
No, he just says ma'am. It's actually ma'am. He just has a weird accent.
Oh, well, sounds like mom. But yeah, then they leave. And what's the next mission? Is it Nightfall?
Yep.
So then,
now that we've taken down the carrier, they're like, we need to find out where they're coming from. There's a dark spot in the maps here. Let's go check it out.
Yeah. And so basically it's like a recon mission. You and June team up, and you're going through this stealth mission with snipers. It's like the classic Halo sniper mission that you get.
Just one other thing though. In the last mission, when they were talking to Halsey, there's a moment where like they mentioned the encounter with the Zealots to Halsey, and that's when she explains to them, she's like, you shouldn't have let that one go. Carter's like, well, I gave the order not to pursue. We had bigger things going on, like warning the planet, Cat says. But apparently this is where you hear from, this is like, I guess, foreshadowing, but not really, because you kind of already know, but because it's a prequel, but it's still kind of foreshadowing of like what this data is on this thing that this scientist discovered, that you then eventually delivered to Halsey, and that these elites definitely wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So she's like, you definitely should not have let him get away. You're lucky. And then she says something like, let's hope that this data is on this thing, because if not, we're fucked, basically.
Yeah.
If they got it.
Yeah, that's true. So, like I was saying, Nightfall, It's like that recon mission, classic Halo sniper level. You just basically go through and fight through a bunch of Covenant forces to get to a it's like a cloaking pylon or something, like scrambling signals or something that you plant a bomb on, and you find out where the Covenant have like staged their whole like military operation. And so now the new plan is, once you guys have found that, is to start like an assault on that location, and then that's where the next level takes place.
Yes. So the next level, probably the coolest cutscene in the whole game, honestly. Tip of the
this
spear.
actually is an awesome.
Yeah, this would have been awesome as an actual level. That's one thing that Reach misses out on. It doesn't have like that awesome set piece level. I think this is kind of trying to be it.
I think it does have that level, but it just doesn't have the impact that the other games have. That level being the next level. I'll talk about it when we get there.
Yeah. So,
but anyways, tip of the spear. So it starts off, it's like this massive UNSC army going against this massive like Covenant army, and then it starts with like basically an AI dot saying like the situation of the Battle of Reach right now. She's like, over the night, Covenant forces have appeared in all of these different territories. We're being attacked on every single front. Like, they're everywhere. It's basically gotten 1,000 times worse since the last day.
Yeah. And
so they're countering on all fronts, and the mission here is we need to find out where these troops are coming from.
Yep. So the UNSC staged that attack, and their goal is to reach the Covenant like battle spire where their command center is, and like where they're running their operation out of. So,
and there has like, I think it says in the cutscene as well, there's like a hypothesis that the spires, which there's multiple of them, are like teleportation terminals linked to something.
Yeah, they do mention that before. So you go through this level, and it's got like a good balance of like close quarter stuff, vehicle play, like different objectives that you have to get to. You have to take down a couple like anti-air batteries and clear the way for the UNSC air like units. Yeah, I like
and it's cool level because as you like take out these different anti-air guns and stuff, you can look off at like the main battle that you wish you were in, but you can look off like towards the edge of the map where there's like tons of scarabs and like warthogs and falcons and stuff. Falcon, it's a new vehicle in this game, like all fighting each other, and every time you take out an anti-air gun, you'll see longswords come in and take out the scarabs, and then like your army progress further towards the other spires.
It's a neat little background
it's a
touch.
pretty cool touch. Yeah. So eventually you get to the last anti-air thing, and then you board a Falcon of your own. You go through like a little on-rails shooter type of section. It's nothing
There's
crazy.
There's also a section a little bit earlier that you get like an Oni directive or something where they're like there's been sightings of a zealot in the area, and now you're like, damn, maybe we should deal with that. It's like a small side quest you can do.
Yeah, Carter says something about like if it's possible, do it, but the main focus is this mission or whatever. So you can actually kill the zealot if you do get to him in time, which is a pretty cool touch.
Yep.
But like I said, you go through that on-rails thing on the Falcon, and then you get to the spire and start to go through it, and it's basically like an EMP. The Falcon gets it has to make like a crash landing, and then you have to fight your way to the spire from like the outskirts of it, which is pretty cool. You get first introduction of like one of the cooler armor abilities in this game, the jetpack. So that's fun. Yeah, that's fun. And then you make your way to the spire, you fight your way up, and you take the gravity lift to the top, take out a bunch of elites, and deactivate it. And
well, kind of, but this section I feel like is way more exciting than you're making it sound. Like, this part is probably one of the few like actual bigger battles of this game. Like, you have to like
fighting,
storm this massive spire.
Yeah.
Like your Falcon crashes down, and they like send these search parties after you of like skirmishers, which are like a new enemy type, grunts, maybe 1 or 2 elites, I think, that like come to see your crash site. You take them out, you work your way up to like the base of the spire, and they have like banshees flying around it, a bunch of turrets at the bottom to keep you from coming in, bunch of elites. It's pretty cool.
Storming the castle.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then when you get to actually get to the top, there's like the generals. So it's cool. You see like, I don't know, it's like almost like a story in like just the placement of enemies, right? Like you have the shitty the grunts and the jackals are what they sent out to search your thing. You have elite miners at the bottom of the spire defending, and then when you get to the top, you have to fight the actual elite generals.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and they've got energy swords and cloaking and different things. They're a lot harder. Their shields are stronger, everything.
Way stronger.
They have an engineer up there with them.
Yeah, elites are built diff in this game. Like some of them have
the worst
such
when you spend,
incredibly
like, 2
strong
mags or a
shields.
mag trying to break one, and then you like he runs behind a corner and you have to restart all over again.
Yeah, the Reach AI is really good.
Yeah, I've seen the
It's
spam
really smart.
roll. I've had
Halo
a grunt
AI is
that I've
usually
stuck
good
with a grenade
in the
and it
Bungie
just ran
games.
at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
So you take
So
out
yeah, you go.
Yeah, you take out the tower or the spire and take out the shield, and then the frigate comes in to shoot with a Mac blast,
That's
which
a
is
really
pretty
cool cutscene.
awesome. You
In
get to see
orbit,
that like up
or in-
close.
Yeah,
atmosphere.
Grafton comes in.
Yeah.
Rolls in.
Yeah, he's like, Mac guns in atmosphere.
Yeah, that was a cool scene.
And then like it also is cool, like as you're jumping out, like disabling the spire, 6 jumps out to like the flying falcon of George and Carter, and they like catch him
Also,
as
it's
he's
pretty
jumping.
cool
It's pretty cool.
that it's
Yeah.
confirmed that the ship that looks like a gun actually shoots bullets. I know, but no, but
That's
like,
all
do you know how the
ships.
gun's
That's
shaped
every
like a
ship.
like, or the ship is shaped like a gun? Like I don't know. I just think
Yeah.
it's cool that it actually fires something down its like quote unquote muzzle or a barrel. No, I know, but I
That's
don't.
every Halo ship though. That's what
What?
the Mac
I'm
Blast
confused.
is.
Never mind. Probably just getting the. Doesn't the shot
I'm
come
not
out
sure
of
what
the
you're
front of
trying
the
to
ship?
say.
Yeah, that's the Mac
Yeah,
blast.
No, I'm
but
saying, but
just
I don't
saying
think you
that's
see
all
that.
Mac Blasts are that. Like,
Until then, for the first time.
every time there's a Mac Blast,
Oh.
you see that. You see it in Halo Wars. You see it in Halo 2 with the,
Oh, yeah,
the
you're
space
right,
stations.
I don't know. I guess it's because it's a different
Yeah.
perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It is cool, but it's every what do you call it? Bigger ship like that. But anyway, so the Grafton comes in, shoots its gun. Everyone's like, "Hell yeah, we took out the spire."
Yeah. Yeah, okay. Anyway, they take it out, and then Covenant frigate comes in and just destroys the entire ship. And then you're like,
It's a super carrier.
yeah, where did that come from? And everybody's like, holy crap, we had no idea that this was even here. And then it's like mass panic because now there's another threat, even though you just feel like you took out the big threat. There's an even bigger one
it's
hiding
so-
behind that.
I think it's so well done too with just how it's framed, because like your ship takes out the spire, and we're like, yes, we've stopped them from teleporting in. Just a couple more spires and we're good. And then just as that happens, the freaking glassing beam or whatever it is destroys the entire frigate, crashes down, everyone starts freaking out, and then the camera like pans up to the massive Covenant ship that's like bigger
Takes up
than
the entire
like you can
sky.
even see. It's like
Yeah, the scale's huge.
your eyesight can't even see the end of it. All you see is like this massive area that the freaking beam came from, and then it goes off into the distance, and it's like, guess that's where they're coming from.
Found their
Yeah.
spawn.
And then
Then you get to like cutscene at the end of this level where like you get the AI dot like giving an update on the like war efforts on Reach, and they're like, turns out all the spires were linked to a cloaked Covenant supercarrier, which is bad. And then it goes on, and it's like that I think it's 60% of all of the UNSC is on its way to Reach now to help deal with this, which is honestly pretty crazy to like leave Earth so low on stuff.
Yeah. This is the part where we get like one of the best cutscenes in the game too. You get the cave like cutscene with all of Noble Team in the cave.
They're like 60% will be here in 48 hours, and then June's like 48 hours.
Yeah,
we'll be dead.
Yeah, pretty much. But we get this cool scene of all of Noble Team. They're kind of on the run in a cave, somewhere out on like the battlefield. And they're trying to come up with a plan because they have no like contact with any of like their superiors or anything. So they're trying to figure out what they should do. And this,
well, not only that, but basically like with this super carry up there, like we said earlier, their contact's been cut off with like a lot of sections of the place. So like most of their space areas and ships and stuff have been destroyed. So they have like no nukes or any like massive weapons to deal with. Like they have nothing to deal with this super carrier.
Yeah, they have no way of kind of like taking it out in traditional means. But this is when the brains of the group, Cat, comes up with like a genius plan of how
the most impressive plan ever.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. Basically, she pitches the plan to Carter, and basically it is they're going to use the slip space drive, which is basically how they travel faster than light. And it's basically like their version of hyperspace. And they're going to use that drive as a bomb and get it onto a Covenant Corvette that will then have to go and refuel at the supercarrier and then set it off and teleport half the ship away, therefore destroying it.
Mega brain.
Now,
but that's crazy. That means not only do they need to find a slip space drive, I think Carter says it, he's like, so now we need the most expensive equipment ever made, something to get us into space, orbit capable transport.
There's a lot of things that need to be set
this
up.
is crazy. But not only do they need those two things, they need to somehow get this slip space drive onto a Covenant Corvette without that Corvette saying anything back to the supercarrier, and without any Banshees, Seraphs, Phantoms getting away from the Corvette to tell anyone.
Yeah, it's a Hail Mary plan, definitely. And so then that kicks off the Long Night of Solace, where basically it is Noble Team putting this plan into play. They get approval.
That's a great scene, though, in the what do you call it?
Yeah.
The cave.
Yeah, that is a good one.
It's like the one time you see them all like talking to each other without dying.
Yeah.
Like just getting shot at or fighting.
Yeah. Yep.
But it seems it's like you have some hope now, right? You're like, okay, well, this is at least there is something that can be tried. And if this supercarrier is taken out, like, we're good. Like, it's just the one supercarrier is here. As long as it doesn't get away to tell the other Covenant, we should be fine.
Yeah. Yeah, so you start this plan. You have to get what they need to do it, which is a way to get into space. So Kat knows about this Oni research facility that's working on, like, experimental spacecraft. And it just so happens that Noble 6, your character that you're playing as, is a former pilot, so he has like the experience and the expertise on how to pilot those kinds of ships.
Oh,
he just said that 1 second ago.
Yeah. Anyway,
literally 1 second ago.
Anyway, so then you storm this is a cool scene. You basically are storming this beach up into this facility because the Covenant have already gotten there. And you fight your way through in order to get to the what are they called? Sabers?
The Sabers, yeah. What's crazy is that this got approved. Like, it just shows how desperate they are. They're like,
yeah, do anything.
Do it.
Yeah.
Anything, just do it.
I mean, they really have no choice. Like, it's their only option. Like, they have to do something. Otherwise, they're screwed because their help won't be there in time.
Yeah, but it's just cool that this, like, plan comes from a field soldier, not someone else.
Yeah. So you get to the Sabers and you take them into space, and then this is where you get like one of the, I think it was it feels like it was supposed to be a much bigger thing than it ended up being. this whole space battle where you're piloting this ship in space and you're taking on
I think the
Seraphs
first
and
time
Banshees
it's incredible.
It's
the first time you
fun.
do it, it's pretty mind-blowing. You get like probably the peak of Halo skyboxes at this point, where you just see all of Reach, like the whole planet, like this huge Covenant supercarrier.
Yeah, that
It's a
part
sight
of it
to
is
behold.
definitely very like awe-inspiring. Yeah, it is. But yeah, you have this space battle that it's fun. Like you get to pilot the ship, and it's got different guns and missiles and things like that. And you have to take out the Seraphs and the Banshees and all of that stuff.
And so the first section, they're like unfitting the slip space drive and refueling a frigate that has donated its like slip space drive and is gonna come with you on this mission to just shoot at things, help out, because it's not like it can slip space out of here anyways.
Yeah.
So you're defending this space station while they're like getting things ready for this ship.
Yeah, so you take on wave after wave, and then eventually
Anchor 9 is what it's called.
Yeah, eventually you succeed, and then that takes you to the next section of the mission where you are with the frigate and the other like pelicans and stuff that are transporting the slip space
It's pretty
drive.
poetic.
There's sabers
in a way.
Oh, there's one pelican.
Yeah.
And there's a cool cut scene in the middle of it where George is like getting ready. He's getting on the pelican and stuff, and he's like talking to the AI Dot, and he's like, "What's the status of Sword Base?" Because Halsey's there, and she's like, "It's basically destroyed. Probably no one there survived." And George is pretty upset about that.
Yeah. It adds more to George's character and like makes you feel how much he cares for Reach and for Halsey and the whole like planet in general. And so you fight your way to the Corvette, and you damage its engines so that it is able to slow down, and you're able to actually board it. So that's pretty cool. And then you
also it has like it deploys a bunch of ships though that are trying to get out, and you have to stop them all from escaping.
Yeah, to warn the supercarrier. So you're able to do that, and you land on top of the ship, and then you get your like indoors section, which is pretty cool. You clear a way for you lower the shield for George to fly the Pelican into the hangar with the slip space drive and the timer and everything. And then you have to fight your way to the bridge and take out like all of the Covenant commanders and everything, and that's where you fight like tons of elites that are like
It's a hard
generals
fight.
and freaking the highest powered ones.
Yeah, and you gotta send it on its refueling course back to the main ship.
Yep. You fight your way back through to the hangar where George is at, take on another wave and another couple waves of enemies as they're trying to stop you. And in that process, the slip space drive is actually damaged.
And the Pelican.
Yeah.
And the door back to the Sabers.
Yeah, so you can't. All of your ways off of the ship are gone. The slip space drive can now only be fired manually, and so it basically sets the stage for somebody's gonna have to stay behind to set off the bomb. And George is the one who
He wants
volunteers
to
to do
save his
that.
home, pretty much. is
So
the reasoning.
yeah, he tells Six like
Says Reach has been good to
Yep.
me. Time for me to return the favor.
Yep, that's what he tells him, and he literally throws Six out of the airlock and tells him the only way back down to the planet is gravity.
Yeah.
So
And he gives you his dog tag.
yeah, it gives you his dog tags and throws you out, and you watch the Corvette slowly get back to the carrier, and then the bomb goes off and teleports half of the ship to
deep space.
who knows where. And
So you did it. You've saved the
died
planet
a
at this
hero.
point. George died, but he saved the whole planet.
so you think. And then that's when you start hearing all kinds of chatter over like the comms, and everybody's like, I have a slip space rupture here. I have one
Dot
here. I
starts
have one
freaking
here.
out
They're
and
everywhere.
starts
And
reporting
then
them all.
I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say freaking
Yeah, she
out,
starts
but
like
she
reporting, and then like
report them.
before she's able to finish the sentence for one, she starts reporting the next. That's what I mean.
Yeah. And then like UNSC people start freaking out. They're like, they're everywhere, and you
Yeah.
start hearing people yelling and dying.
And then you see like
And then you actually can
in space,
see
all the
Yeah.
Covenant carriers and stuff come out of slip space, and you're like, it's the same size
Yeah,
ship you
that's
just
a cool
destroyed,
scene.
but now there's like 80 of them, and you think,
Well, I think the exact numbers are like there was one super carrier there, and then it's like I don't think there's an exact number, but it's somewhere between 350 and
So, and
400
think about-
more come.
it's the largest Covenant
we just
fleet that
spent the whole
anybody's
game
ever seen.
trying to destroy one.
Until they see
Now
High
there's
Charity.
350 or 400 and
Yeah.
whatever more. I can't.
You spend this massive mission to defeat one. George died, and then 350
There
to
you go.
400 more come.
More elegant way of putting it.
Yeah.
It's just normal words.
And so 6 falls back down onto the planet and survives because of his the Spartan armor and all of that logic. And you get the cutscene of him limp walking, getting a pistol, and kind of limping through the wreckage of some destroyed ships. It's
And
actually
he
the
stands
carrier.
on a hill
Yeah.
and looks over Reach City.
Well, yeah.
Reach City.
Not actually Reach City, but New Alexandria, the capital city of Reach. And he makes his way
being
towards that.
absolutely destroyed. It's on fire. There's Covenant ships everywhere. Phantoms flying
It's
in and
bad.
out.
Yeah.
And you see in his hands as he's looking over at George's dog tags, and you think to yourself, George died for nothing.
At least he died
Yeah, pretty much.
thinking he died for something.
Yeah, I guess there's that. But 6 has like no contact with any of Noble Team at this point. Like all the comms are down and everything, so he's just going towards the battle. Pretty much is what's happening.
Yeah, he's like, I guess I'll just find some UNSC and help.
Yeah, so he goes towards the city.
This, honestly, I think this is probably my favorite level, Exodus.
Yeah, this is a
Yeah,
good
this
one.
is pretty.
He goes towards the city, and like you said, the next level is Exodus. This one, there's not like a bunch of story to this one, other than like Reach is like fully under attack and
Yeah.
being invaded.
It's basically, the point of it is just to show you, like, you're losing now.
yeah, you're fully in the shit, and it's not going well. Basically, you're just trying to survive, and
It's
6 and the UNSC are doing everything that they can to help get as many people off the planet as possible because it's a losing effort at this point.
They're starting to evac.
Yeah, and it's like it's no longer like a military mission. Like you're fighting in a civilian city. There's civilians running for their lives, and you're just trying to get them out of
Scientists
there.
are picking up guns. You're fighting with the police.
Yeah, it's really hopeless at this point.
It's also the first time you get to see the brutes in this game, which is their worst design ever. But
Yeah, they look pretty
I think it's
terrible.
cool. I think it's cool the lore wise that you see the brutes here, because it shows you that at this point in the Covenant, the elites are used for military missions, and they're just sending in the brutes to cause chaos, like just fuck up these civilians.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they drop them in like a highly populated area and just basically send them out, like you said, to just destroy everything. But basically 6 is able to get some UNSC air defenses back online and help defend some civilian transports off of the planet. And he's able,
Except for one.
yeah, one of them does get shot down, but he's able to save
It's like
a few of them.
straight out of
Yeah,
Halo
it is.
Wars. It's hilarious.
Yeah, it is. But he's able to save a few of them, and then that's when he gets a call from Kat over the comms. They're finally back up, and he's able to get back in touch with Noble Team, and she lets him know that they're sending a Pelican or a Falcon or something to come and pick him up.
And she's like, we're not getting anything from George. He's not answering.
Yeah, and then 6 lets him know that he didn't make it.
Yeah, he speaks. I know.
No, he's spoken a few times.
Yeah.
Not often.
And then you get the next mission, New Alexandria. I like this one.
You mean Reach City?
Yeah, this one's fun. I think it's different. It changes it up a little bit. You're back.
There's a lot of levels in this game that I think are very fun the first time. New Alexandria, Long Night, Tip of the Spear.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree.
Me too.
I don't think this game has much replayability, to me at least.
Yeah, like there's no level like the Ark or the Covenant or Silent Cartographer or Delta Halo that you just would launch the game up and just play that level.
Yeah, definitely. But New Alexandria is I don't really know how to describe this one. You have a Falcon and you're basically sent to
You're still just helping, basically. You're just helping the evac and assistance of the same city, New Alexandria, because everyone's getting bodied. Like,
yeah,
you're just trying to get as many people out as you can. So Kat gives you different missions during this time. But when you first originally show up, you see Carter, and I think there's a cool like line of dialogue between Carter and Six. Carter basically tells you like things aren't going well, all these things are bad, but good to have you back. Then Six is like, sorry I came alone, and then Carter's like, make him proud.
Yeah, that is a touching moment.
Yeah.
So then that's when you get in your Falcon, and Kat gives you, there's 3 different missions. It's a random order, and then there I think is 2, there might be 3, but I think there's 2 side missions. 3 main missions. One is to go to a hospital that has some kind of jammer in it and destroy the jammer. So that's one of them. You go there, you fight basically a bunch of like elites and brutes and jackals and stuff. There's not much to it. You just go in there, destroy a jammer, get out.
Yeah. You do that twice, actually. They're all jammers. That's what all the missions actually are.
Yeah.
They're just all in different locations.
So then another one's in a nightclub. You go in there, there's some hunters. Another one is in, I'm not sure, I think it's like an office building or something. But what's cool about it is that it is modeled after Ivory Tower, the Halo 2 map. So that's cool.
Yep, that's a nice touch. That's
and
cool.
That is like another like first time. That one's really cool because it's like super horror vibes in there with like the drones.
Yeah. It's kind of...
Yeah, the drones, once you destroy the jammer, like start flying out of every freaking
stressful.
hallway and doorway and everything, and you're just running for this elevator to try and escape with your life. So that part's fun. That is a cool part to that one.
So then randomly between these different missions that are also in a random order, you can get, I'm pretty sure it's 2 side missions. One of them is there is some like just UNSC troops being sniped at. It is Stacker. And you need to save him, basically. Save Stacker. Yeah. Sergeant Stacker. Help him get out of there. And his squad of Marines and stuff. We didn't do that. We all his guys died except for him.
Yeah.
Unfortunate.
Yeah.
There might be another one where you just save some Marines, now that I'm thinking about it.
Yeah.
Which I don't think is any significant like person there.
No.
But then the actual one that everyone's like, oh hell yeah, this is the cool one. You guys.
I don't know his name, but he's from Halo Wars.
You're wrong again. You literally played a whole game as him.
Fuck, what am I thinking?
You got even the game wrong. It's your favorite game in the series, apparently,
it's
too,
ODST.
which is kind of weird.
I remember now. Sorry, I was getting the games mixed up.
Yeah. You have to go help Buck from ODST, the leader of Alpha 9. So
that's
you go and escort Buck,
it's
who's
all
in
coming back.
Yeah, you escort Buck, who's in his own Falcon, and protect him from some Banshees and get him to a certain location. It's pretty simple and quick.
Yeah. But it's just cool to see him. You get an achievement for it. I forget what it's called, but it's like Familiar Face or something like that.
Yeah. And then
this level also has probably the coolest Easter eggs. There is one on Sword Base too, actually, where you can spawn in some Gosshogs and do a race, which is pretty cool. But this level has the coolest ones. There's 2 main ones. There is the nightclub one. There's like a couple switches you can flip. I think one's at the hospital, and I think one is at the top of the nightclub. And it makes all the like enemies dance. You act like you remember. You don't even know the names of characters.
This I remember doing with you. I remember the second one.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if that's for this Easter egg or the other one. But anyways, so it makes all the enemies in the nightclub dance, which is pretty funny. And it gives you like a brute DJ.
There's light.
It's cool.
It's funny.
And then there's another one where I think they're just on random buildings. That one on the nightclub might have been for this that Bert pretended he knew. But there's definitely one on a building near the hospital. I know that, but there's a bunch of switches you can flip, and then if you have a Falcon or if you steal a Banshee and you fly him through this ringed building, you can turn a Falcon into a Pelican and a Banshee into a Phantom.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. I remember doing that when the game first came out back in the day. Thought that was really cool.
Very cool Easter
It's
eggs.
one of my favorites.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyways, though, so after you complete those 3 quests, Kat is like, all right, get back here. We're getting attacked. Help us evac this Oni building.
Yep. So you take out a bunch of turrets shooting at it, a bunch of phantoms and banshees, and then you land. Kat brings out like this landing pad, and you're able to get inside. And so Noble Team is reunited. We get another good cutscene here.
As far as the gameplay on this level, though, I like the Falcon sections. Like, I feel like it's fun to shoot at Banshees with like the grenade launchers and stuff. It's a good time. And also, just as you're going through the game, like, you can see the skybox is cool with like Covenant ships glassing like the city and just things out in the distance and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
The city gets progressively more on fire as the level goes.
Yeah, that is good.
Anyway, so yeah, squad reunited. They're all sitting there talking.
Yeah, they're basically everybody's pretty down. Obviously, George is dead. The squad is kind of trying to figure out what their next move is.
Carter talks about George. He's like, George gave his life thinking he just saved the planet. We should all be so lucky.
Yeah, they all reminisce a little bit about him. And
6 shows the tags, and Emil's like, keep them. He gave them to you.
Yeah,
I'll honor him my own way, which is pretty cool because Emil and George actually fought a lot during the game, so it's cool to see that he actually like didn't hate him.
Yeah, it was more like a brotherly kind of back and forth that the two of them had, older younger brother type thing. But yeah, so then Kat ends up receiving a distress call or some kind of like priority message, and it's from Colonel Holland again, who he's trying to get in touch with Noble Team, specifically Carter. And so Kat's like, you better take this, like it's important. And Carter's worried about it being able to be traced, and Kat's like, well, they're already tracing it, so just make it quick, go.
She's like, there's no way to stop them from tracing it at this point.
Yeah, so
Keep it brief.
They have their conversation, and basically Holland is telling him that they need to go back to Sword Base, that there's something at Sword Base that they need to help secure.
Well, that they need to destroy Sword Base so no data falls into Covenant hands is what their mission is.
Yeah, and in the middle of that conversation, they get cut off because there's a massive like radiation spike that Kat picks up, and turns out that the Covenant have started glassing their location, so they know where they are. And so...
No, they might just be doing the city. They might... like just happen. It's a massive area that a glassing beam covers.
Yeah. So Noble Team immediately has to start sprinting out of there. They're grabbing their helmets and it's everything on the move.
Kat locates a fallout shelter.
Yeah, where they are heading towards. And they don't tell you this out loud specifically, but it's important to know because then you ask questions later. But the huge radiation spike does take it down all of the Spartans' shields. So at this point when they're running... You
can see it happen.
Can you? I don't remember seeing it.
Well, when the glassing beam hits, you see it.
Oh, their shields pop?
Yeah.
Oh, I never knew that. That is a good touch then, because I never noticed that. That's cool. Anyway, so they run to the elevators. Emil, June, and Carter getting one, and you and Kat getting the other. There's a bunch of cool little details in these scenes here too. Kat hits the elevator button, but she misses it, and so she has to tap it again. So now their elevator is slightly behind the other 3 Spartans, so they're a little ways behind them. And then they get out of the elevators and they're sprinting across this opening in the roof, and they're trying to get to the next...
That's when Carter's telling them what their mission is.
Yeah.
To go to Sword Base. And then June's like, Sword? The Covenant own that now.
Yeah. And Kat's in the middle of saying something when a phantom flies over and a needle rifle shot goes right through her helmet and kills her immediately.
This is the most shocking death, I think, in the whole series, honestly, more than anything in the original trilogy. Like, it's just... when you're watching it, it's so out of nowhere.
It's
Yeah,
sudden,
it's so
and
sudden.
she just gets cut off, and then there's silence.
Yeah, and it's
You're like,
just
what
that's it. It's done. There's
Then like all the Spartans step out and start shooting at the Phantom while your character Six like starts dragging her. He grabs a pistol off of her and starts shooting up, but then he drags her in.
yeah. She literally falls into his arms as like, he catches her before she even hits the ground. But yeah, and it's immediate and sudden. There's no like dialogue after the fact of like them being able to talk, and then she dies later. Like she's just dead instantly.
And then you like all these Marines that were in the shelter and civilians are freaking out.
Yeah. So they drag her in, and then the next scene plays out. It's a lot quieter. Everybody's got much somber tone, and
The music
and
and they like look over. They come out of the shelter. Actually, this is probably hours later.
Yeah, so you can just imagine they were sitting in that shelter with her dead body. Really probably
And
not
Carter's
saying anything.
carrying her now.
Yeah, Carter carries her out, and they light a flare, and
The city is just rubble.
Yeah, it's
yeah,
flat. Or pretty much.
pretty much. It's pretty basically completely destroyed. And so then that's when you get to the next mission. It's called...
And I think actually even it's called The Package, but I think even at this point, like with this beginning cutscene, they're like talking to Carter about the mission. He's like, are you in position or whatever? Do you read me? Like Carter still sounds upset about, like he still does not sound good.
Yeah, him and Kat have been together the longest. They've known each other the longest, so...
Well, I think they're the only two original members of Noble Team.
Yeah, I think so. So their relationship goes back a lot further than the rest of the team. But you can definitely tell this one affected Carter more than probably anyone else would have. But yeah, so now we're on the package and we're back at Sword Base. And I think one
But
thing...
it's freaking destroyed.
Yeah, it's destroyed. One thing that Reach does a good job of reusing assets and reusing maps and even campaign levels, like they make them feel different. They're changed. Like Sword Base is flooded because of the glassing beam. The glaciers around it have melted. There's water everywhere. So it changes the whole like environment in a way,
Well, it
which is
feels
kind of
All
cool.
the previous buildings look different too because they've been destroyed.
Yeah,
Yeah, it feels
which is
new
cool.
in ways.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe not new, but it's like it's familiar, but it's got a twist to it, so it makes it feel different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you fight your way back to Sword Base. You get a Scorpion and a bunch of other vehicles and take out anti-air guns again. And you get back to Sword Base. And you're able to fight your way through. Eventually...
Way harder this time, though, because this is basically a Covenant base now. There's like 1 million shade turrets in like the front yard.
Wraiths, shade turrets, revenants, all like high-ranking elites because they're looking for... The Sword Base has important like information that is very vital to both the UNSC and the Covenant. So eventually you fight your way back in, and I don't remember how this part plays out. The hallway scene where they find that like hidden door.
Well, so they what happens is they are following the coordinates given to them that is supposed to be where they're supposed to like set a bomb that should take down Sword Base.
Yeah.
And when they get there, they're like, looks like these guys got themselves cornered because there's like a ton of dead Marines and ODST and stuff in this corner that they've been sent to, which they think is to put their bomb. And then Carter's like not really believing that they would have just got themselves cornered. He's like, maybe they were committed to the position for something.
Yeah, and either
And
June or
basically,
Emil...
June is... What?
I was going to say June or Emil, somebody makes the comment about there's no like supporting columns or beams or anything here that would like warrant this being the location to
like,
set a bomb off.
June's like, if this is where we're not gonna blow it up here. Like, obviously, we should just go AI free on this one. And then during that conversation, like Dot reroutes them and gives them new coordinates, and they're looking at them, and June's like, this says we need to go like a click and a half east and like 2 miles underground or something.
The AI bug.
Yeah.
And they're like, this is clearly garbage. Like, we're just gonna have to figure this out on our own, how to destroy this place. And then a door opens in that corner all of a sudden.
Yeah. This is cool. I love this like I love like the mysteriousness to Halo when it does it. I think that those parts are really fun and cool, like adding like that mystery of like the Forerunners, and you get it when you're on the first Halo ring and Combat Evolved and
Get it in
all that kind of
ODST with
stuff.
the
Yeah,
doors
and I
open.
think it's so cool, like the way it's done too, because then they're like, Dot, what's happening? She's like, my orders have been overridden by an AI with that like far outranks and is way more advanced than me. And they're like, what the hell? And as that door opens, it's cool how they like all pull their guns out, and they're like they were just arguing, but then they instantly go into like a mode of attack.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're all at the ready, yeah. And eventually they get to this elevator and they end up taking it down however far they needed to go. And then
Well, they're like in the thing, this like Tran thing, and then Dot's like, they've been expecting you, and Emil's like, what the hell is expected by an AI? What is going on here?
yeah.
And that's when like the screen comes up.
That's when what comes up?
The screen
What screen?
of Halsey.
Halsey, yeah. You're right. Yeah. I forget everything she says, so you do this.
She basically, they're like, Dr. Halsey, you're supposed to be dead. She's like, yeah, my death was exaggerated or something like that. As they're riding forward, she's basically telling them, we've discovered an artifact down here that isn't human or Covenant. We're not sure where it comes from. Far advanced than either the humans or the Covenant. The discovery that the scientists that we had talked about earlier, that your person or that cat had like gained that thing from, is like data from this, I guess, or something like that. It might have been to find it or something. I don't know exactly. And then like at that point you like come to this open area where you can see it, and it's like a pretty cool showing, you know, like when it reveals the big like
Forerunner structure
ice
thing.
cave and Forerunner structure. And she's just talking about like she's in her lab, she's trying to get something ready. She's like, what I have could like change the tide of the war. I need you to buy me time and then get this off planet for me. You need to buy me as much time as you can. And then she has that God tier line. You remember that one?
Which one?
Where about she's like at the end of her speech to Carter, she's like, if you've been wondering wondering what your Spartans died for, they died for this.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. I do.
Also,
like
I'm
that.
thinking now Cat might be too. Pretty sure Cat's too. So sorry about that.
Oh yeah, Cat might be noble too. I think you're right. Yeah. So then this part is pretty cool. Like sometimes I don't like wave defense missions or whatever, but I feel like this one does a good job of it. And like the stakes make you care. Like you feel more believable that you're holding this spot.
Especially because you've gone through like fighting to feel like you're winning, getting shut down, going through like we're fucked, there's no hope. And now it's like this small piece of hope.
Yeah.
If that makes any sense. And you're like, she's like, buy me all the time you can. And you're like, yes, I will. I'll do
This
it.
I can do.
Yeah. Yeah. That is a good one. So,
And they give you a lot of cool stuff to use for this defense thing.
yeah, you get like a whole armory. You have your choice of weapon, your choice of armor ability, everything.
Can steal banshees. And it's like, I think it's probably the only point in the game, honestly, where you feel overwhelmed with like the amount of enemies coming at you, and you finally are feeling. Well, I think this game should have honestly done more of just like feeling like you're constantly being overwhelmed because Reach is
When we
just
were
being
playing,
destroyed.
we were getting pushed back, like with our backs against the wall. Like they were pushing into.
Yeah, we legitimately did get pushed back. Yeah, like we could originally started out like out there, like at where the drops were happening, and then eventually there was too many. We would fall back more and more and more until you're like pinned up against the door, and then it finally opens, and you're able to like retreat and get into Halsey's laboratory.
Also, cool Easter egg here. They have like the Bungie memory room thing with like pictures from all the games that you can see, and like dev names and stuff. It's pretty cool.
It's a nice little Easter egg.
Yep, another good Easter egg. This one has a lot of good Easter eggs, I think.
Yeah, there's also the banshees outside that you can spawn in. But anyways, yeah, so you're really just defending against waves that get progressively harder. It's like grunts and jackals and elite miners and like generals, captains. It gets crazy.
So you have banshees, wraiths, and hunters, and everything all over.
It's a full showing.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the few moments that you're there with at least the remaining all of noble teams. So it's like 4 Spartans, and it's always just cool to see multiple Spartans fighting together.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, so then you eventually...
And man, that line, though, she really hypes you up with the... You've been wondering what your Spartans died for. They died for this. And you're like, fuck yeah.
Yeah. So then you get into the laboratory, and you're face-to-face with Halsey, and... do you want to do this? You do a better job of like breaking all this down because I forget a lot of parts.
So basically you walk in, everyone's like, what the hell is all this stuff? And long story short, Halsey is like this AI, far advanced than anything we've done before, is the key to us coming back from this. Like, she's like, when Reach falls, and it will fall, she tells them that their annihilation will be certain, the human race, unless they can like take something from here and use it to help them later on, which will be this thing that she has.
Yeah.
And then she like pulls it out. You see Cortana for a second, which is a great like way to tie it together. It really makes it feel like, wow, this actually does matter, because Cortana is like the key to everything in the original
and it gave
trilogy.
them an actual purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, it's just cool to see Cortana. So she pulls Cortana out, and she holds the thing over to Noble Six, and she's like, she chose you. I need you guys to get her to this shipyard for the last remaining ship to get her off planet. It's waiting there. The Pillar of Autumn, also another amazing tie-in.
Yeah, great reference. And I think this is a cool part too, because it's kind of cool that Halsey would make. Well, it's kind of coincidence, and it's kind of not. Like, it's obvious that Halsey and Cortana like wanted, like, I'm sure Halsey wanted it to be Keyes' ship because her and Keyes have that relationship. And Cortana obviously picked Chief. They know Chief is going to be on the Pillar of Autumn, so like there's all of that going into it too.
I mean, really what it is Keyes is probably the only one who was willing to stay and wait for something that she told them, you know, because she's technically civilian.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Most of the other military are like, let's get the hell out of here, but Keyes knows her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so I like also the line where Halsey has like the device with Cortana in it, and she's giving it to Six, and she's like, do you have it? And he's like, yeah. And then she's like, I need you to say the words. So he says, I have it. And then she gives it to him.
He's scared you're gonna drop it, but you literally like slide down cliffs and shit with it later on.
Thrown with explosions.
You jump out of a pelican with it.
Yeah, you're like getting shot at, and it's probably getting hit with bullets.
Yeah. But
it is a cool line. And it's cool, honestly, how like they're like, all right, we trust her. All 4 of them are like, cool.
Yeah.
So then, I forgot to say it though. In the Tran thing, when they're coming in and Halsey's first revealed to them, there's another cool line where when they're coming in and she's like, I need you guys to help me or whatever. He's like, our directive is to destroy Sword Base. And she's like, others will deal with that. You belong to Oni now.
Yeah, that is good. Yeah, and there's bigger things
like,
going on here. Yep. So then the Spartans and Halsey make their way out of Sword Base through, like, I guess a back exit. Who knows? I don't know how the heck they get out. But Noble teams together, and, well, what's left of them. And Carter tells June to go with Halsey and make sure she gets off planet.
Take her to Castle Base.
Yeah, make sure she gets off planet or to wherever she's going.
They're supposed to go to Castle Base, and then it's rough knowing what happened from there. There is kind of a comic about it, but it's not determined whether or not it's canon. It's been canon, it's not been canon, it changes all the time.
Yeah, but so June goes with them, and that's the last you see of June. So Noble, whatever he is, I think he's 3.
Well, in this game, he does survive, though. You see him in future books and stuff.
Yeah, June does survive, so he does make it off. But this is the last that we see of him in this game. And then Carter, Emil, and Six take the fragment of Cortana, and they head towards...
this is another
Pillar of
thing,
Autumn.
just because it's been like a very confusing thing in the lore. So technically speaking, when Bungie made the game, that was supposed to be Cortana. But then it, like, when Reach came out, it had major conflicts with the Fall of Reach book, because Bungie never like wanted there to be all these books. They're like, we should keep everything in the games. So the books were not like directly approved by them. So when they made Reach, they didn't care about the book at all. But then like after Reach came out, a few years later, someone did like, I can't remember how it was done, but there was like a bunch of stuff that eventually got explained through like very insane explanations to make both canon somehow. And one of those things ended up being that this isn't actually Cortana, it's a fragment of Cortana with the knowledge of this Forerunner device or structure or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm. And the location of the first Halo ring. So that random jump that she makes in the Pillar of Autumn wasn't as random as it actually was.
Yeah, she had that from this fragment of her.
Yeah.
But the actual Cortana is with Chief. This is a fragment of her with Forerunner knowledge.
Yep. For the lore nerds who were wondering. Which I actually think that stuff's like super interesting. I always like that kind of thing.
I think they do a great job of tying it into Reach,
Especially
honestly.
considering what they
Yeah.
had to work with, like 2 conflicting pieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
I kind of get what they were saying, though, like, because they want, like, they're like, that'll just be a game eventually, but then obviously, like, they started hating Microsoft and left, but I get what they're saying. That's the problem we're having now. There's too many books. Just make them games.
Yeah. That happens in so many franchises. Anyway, so then the next cutscene opens up with Dot kind of like freaking out. She's like, Noble 1, please respond. Sierra, what? I don't know Carter's number, but she keeps saying his name and he's not answering.
Then his helmet falls.
Yeah, his helmet falls to the ground.
See a bunch of blood on the windshield.
Yeah, of a Pelican that he's piloting. And then the camera pans to him. His eyes are bloodshot. He's got like blood dripping from his mouth.
In his ears.
And he has, in his ears, he's got like major scorch burns through his armor in the chest. And so it's like shown that basically he has like severe injuries to the point where like he will die from those injuries at some point. But he's still kicking at this point, and he tells Emil and Six that it's a ground game now, that you guys need to get on the ground and get to the Pillar of Autumn. That he's going to try and draw the fire of the rest of the Covenant forces that are chasing them and try and give them a window.
Because there's like, during this like time that you're talking to Carter, Emil is like fighting banshees and a freaking phantom out the back of the Pelican.
Yeah, he's shooting them with a grenade launcher, and it's pretty cool. But then Emil and Carter have a cool scene where Emil is like, "It's been an honor, sir," and then Carter responds, "Likewise," and so gives them.
Then he counts them down.
Yeah, gives them the mark to jump from the Pelican. So they jump from it and slide down like a hillside or a mountain cliff.
Perfect timing,
Almost like he knew.
really.
Yeah. And then Emil and Six have to make their way to the Pillar of Autumn. So you fight through Covenant forces on the ground, through caves and streets and roads and fields and all kinds of stuff.
It's a long fight.
Yeah, eventually you come to, I think, to a multiplayer map area. It's called Boneyard, I think. And that's like your first vision of the Pillar of Autumn, which is pretty cool.
You can see it in the background.
But before that, anyways, like, you fight through like normal enemies, and you eventually get some mongoose.
Yeah, huge missed opportunity here to have a scarab battle. You actually see 2 scarabs, and you like drive underneath their legs and through them and everything, but you never actually fight them or destroy them.
Yeah.
Big missed opportunity.
Then you get to like a cave section. You're going through some caves. You can continue.
Yeah, you go through the caves, fight some drones. You're right at the exit of the caves, and the scarab shows up again, and it's about to blast you with its laser beam. And Carter flies by and shoots it a few times and draws its fire. And he lets them know. He lets Six and Emil know that wrong. It's not what he says.
Opposite of what he says.
Emil says, "You don't have the firepower to take that thing on." Carter's like, "Yeah, but I have the mass."
The opposite, Bert. He does have the mass.
Yes, he has it. So basically, Carter's like, lets them know his plan. He's going to basically crash it in. Not basically, he is going to crash it into the scarab. And
he goes, "You're on your own, Noble."
Yeah, Carter out, and boom, crashes into it in a ball of fire and takes down the scarab, and that's how Carter dies.
That's probably the most, like, Cat's is the most shocking and I think impactful, but Carter's is the most badass.
Yeah, definitely. But
he literally just freaking bodies a scarab.
It is pretty cool.
Yeah, and then Emil's like, "All right, let's go."
Carter's also my second favorite, so maybe that's why I'm like a big fan.
Yeah. So you fight your way to the Pillar of Autumn, and you get to the shipyard.
But it's cool because right after that, it is that open section that I told you about, and you see the Pillar of Autumn, and it's like, holy shit, that's the Pillar of Autumn. It looks just like Halo 1. We haven't seen the Pillar of Autumn at this point in real life. Like, you assume you're playing it when it came out in, 10 years.
Yeah.
This is a 10-year improvement of graphics, and also during a time that, like, 10-year graphically was a huge difference, Like, I feel like these days, 10 years back is definitely different, but it's not as big as, 2001 to 2011.
Sure. Yeah, the jump's way bigger and more noticeable.
Yeah, so you're like, holy shit, that's the Pillar of Autumn. And you're already amazed because you're like, wow, the Pillar of Autumn. And then OG, same actor, Keyes comes on the comms, and you're like, holy shit, it's actually him.
Yeah, that part's really cool. But you get to the shipyard,
I'm waiting for you.
And Keyes tells you to clear him and LZ, so you fight off a bunch of Covenant and clear out that landing zone. And
you fight through more before you're there.
Yeah, you do fight.
You gotta go through like a whole shipyard, go inside like some hallway areas, like a factory, fight some hunters.
Yeah. You do all that, and then you clear the LZ for Keyes.
Then Emil, he's a homie at this point. He's like, I'll stay and manage this AA gun. Because he's like, go. Also, there's a point when Carter drops you off, we forgot to say, after his thing with Emil, he's like, 6, that AI chose you. She made the right choice.
Yeah, that's true.
But anyways, Emil's like, I'll stay behind and man the gun. You take the AI onto the ship. So Emil's basically condemned to death now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
That's my favorite character.
Yeah, so you clear that LZ. Keyes makes it down there in a Pelican and asks you to come.
You get to see him. You're like, hell yeah, it's Keyes. He looks super evil, though, for some reason.
Yeah. And then a Phantom actually flies over the AA gun that Emil is manning and drops off like 3 or 4 elite zealots. And they bust into the gun and pull him out, and he's able to take out like 2 of them. And then the last one stabs an energy sword through him from behind when he wasn't looking. And Emil has like a badass line. He's like, what does he say exactly? It's like,
he says, I'm ready, how about you?
Yeah, I'm ready, how about you? And he turns, and as the elite has him on the sword, stabs it in the neck and tackles it to the ground and kills it, and he dies. So
yeah, and they've shot down one of the Pelicans, and the other Pelican with Keyes comes back. The Marines are like, get on, we gotta get the hell out of here, because there's no more gun defending you.
Yeah.
You've already given Keyes Cortana's fragment.
Yeah.
And then 6 is like, negative. I'll have the gun.
Yeah.
Good luck, sir. Then Keys is like, good luck to you.
Good luck to you.
Because he's like,
Spartan.
man, you're fucked. Little did he know that he would have the worst death in the entire universe.
Keys has it rough.
Keys does.
He's like, sucks to be that guy. I'm getting out of here. But he was actually going to a worse fate than anyone ever has.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why 6 was able to last so long, because Keys gave him all of his luck.
Maybe.
Damn. Could be.
Yeah, but
then you fight your way to the gun, get on the gun, and it's pretty cool. You get to shoot down phantoms and banshees.
Yeah. Go
while the pelican is flying back to the Pillar of Autumn.
Yep, you keep them off of Keys and the Cortana thing, and eventually the Corvette that's above them that would have taken them out, you were able to shoot that down, destroy that, and then
well, you just destroy its weapon. You don't shoot it down.
Yeah, destroy its weapon, and the Pillar of Autumn is able to make it off of the planet safely.
It's actually really cool watching it launch.
Yay.
From, like, the dry dock.
Yeah, that is cool.
Like,
and you see the Pelican fly into the hangar and
you
everything.
see like its first stage strip off and stuff.
Yeah, and you can see Chief in there.
Camera.
Yeah.
Well, you just move it one way.
Think, right? Or is it right? Awesome.
It's right.
Yeah, it's like to the right. Yeah.
So then you're standing there as you watch it leave, and it's like, wow, this is sad. Like, I'm dead. Like, I'm screwed.
Yeah. And then that leads to the last mission, Lone Wolf.
That's where the meme comes from.
Which is a throwback, because in Mission 1, Carter's like, I read your file. That Lone Wolf stuff stays behind, because we're a team.
Yeah.
Yeah. All of Noble Team has
everyone's dead.
Yeah, all of Noble Team has very poetic endings. George...
Not June.
Well, yeah, kind of also. So, George dies giving his life for Reach. He was born on Reach. Well, considers himself to be born on Reach, basically, because that's how the Spartans were created, was there.
He always said he would never leave Reach, but dies off of Reach.
Yeah, dies off of Reach, defending Reach. Kat dies due to equipment failure, and she's like the equipment expert, and she gets shot in the brain, and she is the brains of the group. Emil, the close quarters combat expert, dies to an energy sword. He gets killed by his expertise. June, the lone sniper who's working on his own away from the rest of the group, ends up being the only one that makes it off of the planet and is alone on a mission. Carter, how's Carter's poetic? I forgot how.
Because he's the captain that goes down with his ship.
Ah, yes. Yes. Carter goes down with the ship, literally, crashes the Pelican and dies. And then 6, the lone wolf, who finally had a team and was a part of a team and enjoyed it, is left alone again and is a lone wolf and ends up dying a lone wolf. So, very poetic endings to all of Noble Team.
He does have a badass final stand scene, though, where he takes out like 10 elites.
Yeah, all zealots.
Without a gun towards the end.
Yeah. 6
definitely a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, 6.
Eventually they take him down.
Yeah, 6 in lore is one of 2 Spartans that have been given the designation of hyper-lethal. Him and Chief are the only 2. Yeah. Which is pretty cool.
Honor.
And
especially since he's a Spartan 3.
Yeah. And 6 actually survived how long? Because obviously you play the level.
I think it's a couple weeks.
Yeah, he survives on the planet a couple weeks, which is pretty crazy.
Maybe 1 week.
It's impressive, though.
So...
You versus an entire military.
He probably could have survived longer if he didn't try and fight. He would have just survived until a glassing beam happened to hit him.
Yeah, or he could have just hung out in a cave and waited.
Well, a glassing beam would still kill you.
And if the cave's deep enough.
When the atmosphere of the planet is sucked away.
Well, I mean, if he has his armor, he's cool. He's chilling.
But it's not endless. It doesn't just give you oxygen out of nowhere.
I mean, those Spartan armors are powered by a mini nuclear reactor, so theoretically they could continue to produce oxygen for...
Or they get the atoms from. You can't just create matter.
I don't know, I'm not a scientist.
Science fiction. Anyways, so yeah, then he dies. You get a cool cutscene of...
Halsey's voiceover.
I guess it's Halsey, yeah. And it shows people coming back to Reach at a point in time that has actually not been reached yet by the future games. Even Halo Infinite takes place before this scene.
Yeah. And Reach is being recolonized, and you have a scene of your Spartan's helmet, Six's helmet, with a crack in it.
Yeah, Halsey was like, our victory was so close. I wish you could have lived to see it, but you belong to Reach. Your body, your armor, everything was turned to glass, except your courage that you gave to us, and we'll use it to rebuild.
Yeah. And that's how the game ends.
Basically, he saved everyone because he got that Cortana piece off and discovered Halo. He's like, thanks to you, we discovered Halo, unlocked its secrets.
Yeah.
All thanks to him. Well, all of Noble Team, really. Except for Kat and George, because they didn't... Well, I guess Kat, but George didn't do shit. Fuck George. He's the worst member.
Yeah. All right, yeah. That's it for the narrative and the campaign stuff. Sebastian, if you want to talk a little bit about the multiplayer side of it. I don't have too much to say about that. We did not play the multiplayer like recently. Like obviously I played it at the time, but my memories of that.
Yeah, we did play it recently. We played it that day we were in a Helldivers 2 queue.
Yeah, but that was like
yeah, but we played
1v1v1.
Free
like
for
an
all, just the
hour.
three of us.
That's called a free-for-all, Bert.
Yeah.
Same thing.
But yeah, so if there's anything you want to say about that quickly, go ahead and give us a little about that.
Reach's multiplayer sucks on default settings. The TU settings are decent, but its default settings suck ass. I hate playing default Reach. It's so bad. Which sucks because Reach can be the best in the entire series. There is a specific playlist in Reach that I like more than anything in Halo 3, and Halo 3 is my favorite multiplayer, but the Halo CE Anniversary playlist in Halo Reach is peak. If Halo Reach always had those settings, it would be my favorite multiplayer by far. Like, it's so good. It has basically simulated CE stuff, so the pistol works similar to the CE pistol. There's no bloom, which is the absolute worst part of Reach. That's why Reach sucks so bad. God, I hate bloom. No armor abilities. I fucking hate armor abilities too in Reach. Unless you're playing like big team or something, it's fine. I don't mind them in big team. I don't mind them in heavies, but like in 4v4s, armor abilities are so annoying when someone armor locks or like the invisibility disrupts your whole radar or something like that.
Yeah.
But man, the Halo CE Anniversary playlist in Reach is so good. It's literally the best. Like, there is no better form of Halo multiplayer. It's so good.
Yeah. My absolute biggest hate of Reach's multiplayer is the bloom.
I don't like the
It's
bloom
so
either.
annoying.
It's horrible.
Makes your guns feel like Nerf darts.
Yeah, makes it suck.
Well, not that. They just miss for no reason.
It's like you're shooting.
But the TUs...
It's like you're shooting with your eyes shut.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah. The TU settings actually make Reach fun. So the TU settings is bloom is reduced by, I think it's 70%, so it basically doesn't feel noticeable because most guns don't even have a fire rate fast enough for that to matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, the TU settings are good, and you can actually queue into sometimes getting those, but like the default Reach settings suck ass, which is so annoying because like overall Reach is fun without bloom. If it didn't have bloom, I would say it's, probably around Halo 2-ish level for me.
Yeah.
And then with that's still like, not the Halo C Anniversary settings, that's peak, but it's still like with TU settings, it's good.
Yeah.
I do think though that Reach has some great additions, like the Falcon is really cool. The Spartan laser is definitely more balanced in Reach, has one less shot than Halo 3, which I think is much more fair. And then I think that Invasion rocks. Invasion is very fun.
Yeah, I do remember playing Invasion at the time that it came out and always liking that game mode the best.
Yeah, Invasion was basically like Halo's Battlefield mode, and I wish it would have expanded into like more of a thing. That was the plan. They said it was meant to be similar to Battlefield, expand into that eventually. It was basically just Spartans versus elites. Either sometimes it's destroy the generator, sometimes it's take the core, sometimes it's blow up the dropship or something like that.
Yeah.
And it just led to like crazy like war scenarios of just you're trying to break into the spire, get this core and escape, or blow up this phantom or something.
It was like
so
mini
fun.
campaign missions, but against other people.
Yeah.
Yeah, and specifically on Spire and Boneyard, so good. Great maps for that. I wish they added one invasion map in the future. I think it's called Glacier. It's not good because it's so unbalanced. Like one team just gets spawn trapped. I wish they would have made another like good invasion map. Like Spire is so good and then Boneyard's decent. But like another Spire would have been awesome.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, like most fun things in Halo, when 343 took over, it was completely dropped and we never saw it again.
Yep.
Other things, though, about Reach. Reach probably was the most, like, massive package, if you think about it, because Firefight super expanded on from ODST, and now it's in a full game, not a spin-off game. You can literally choose every single individual unit in Reach in a Firefight.
Yeah, that
which
is
pretty
a cool
cool.
touch.
That was another thing they said, yeah, we want this to expand into like merging with Forge so people can make their own campaign levels, but instead we dropped Firefight for 10 years and we're only now getting it back.
Yeah.
And it's about the same, not improved at all.
Well, it's a start, hopefully.
Yeah. And then Forge got massive god tier improvements. There's like so many more items. They added the phasing, they added the snapping, the rotation, like degrees and stuff, just so many things that made it easier to build things. And then Forge World was like a legendary thing at the time. Like holy shit, Forge World was insane. Forge World is still
remember
insane.
How I said I used to play around on Reach?
Yeah, you were
Yes, I
probably
think
talking
that
about
was,
Forge
because
World.
I remember they used to be able to fly up into like a hangar somewhere.
Yeah, that's Forge World.
Forge World is still a big map, even like by today's standards.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So Forge got improved, Firefight got improved. We got a big new game mode, Invasion. Campaign was decent. At first time, I would say it's really good, and then after that, it's just all right. But still, like, it's a Halo campaign that's good. You had these other three amazing things. Multiplayer was definitely lacking until the TU settings were added.
Yeah.
Also, I feel like Reach very severely lacked good maps at launch. It had, like, half of its maps were Forge maps or something like that, 40%. Which, like, even if Forge maps are different, they're still gray, you know? So it's like, it feels the same.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Sword Base sucks. Most of the like, pretty much all of the original launch maps were just straight out of campaign, too. So, like, you didn't feel like you were playing anything new.
Yeah.
Boardwalk, shitty map, except for Infection. But Reach's Infection, probably peak, honestly. Reach Infection is so good. And then when Reach got its first map pack, it actually, well, all its map packs were actually pretty good. You got like the Halo CE anniversary multiplayer map. So you had like, what's it called? High Noon, I think it's called, and Highlands from Halo 1. And the other one, I forget what it's called, Anchor 9. That was a good one with like the low gravity area.
Yeah.
And then there was two maps with low gravity areas, actually, one on the side and one in the middle. But yeah, with its map packs, it had good maps. But at launch, it had like no maps. Tempest, that was another good one. Highlands, that's a great big team map. Highlands, probably the best one. So Reach's maps were lacking at launch. These days, though, it's got enough maps to be fun with all the DLCs. It just sucks that like Reach was kind of the turning point of Halo. Like it's where people became divided on it, I feel like. Even to this day, like Reach is like one of those, you either like, most people either love it or hate it. I feel like I like it, but I don't love it.
Yeah, I'm in the middle. I think I definitely liked it way more originally when it came out, which is probably different from most people. I think if I like playing it back now, I did not have as much fun as I thought I would. I was looking forward to playing Reach.
Yeah, well, I think its story is probably top 3 in the Halo games, but like when that's like first time, you know, after
Yeah.
you know it, you know
is,
it.
like,
Yeah.
it's a cool game. The story's cool, but like in the other games, you're destroying scarabs. I don't know. There's like nothing really repeatable.
Yeah, there's the Covenant, the
Yeah,
Ark,
like you said
Halo,
earlier.
anything like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man.
I just think Reach is
It's
good.
a shame.
I think it's good. I'd probably give it
I
like
think
a
it's good,
6. Probably give it a 6
It has
out of
some
10.
God tier custom games. Haloware, its Frogger is
Seems
pretty
like its
good.
community was sport.
Its Jenga is worse than
support
Halo
was better
3
than
though. Also, original Reach had way more things than MCC. All the games in MCC lose big portions of them that made them good, like Halo 3's ranking system, which was awesome. Reach had an awesome progression system / store for armor customization.
Yeah.
And also Reach's armor customization just blew the previous Halo 3 out of the water with like how much it had.
Reach's armor customization still to this day is the best in the series.
Yes. It has the best looking, so good that Infinite was like, let's just take all of Reach's armor and that'll be ours.
Yeah.
Except they made it worse because linear progression for customization is stupid because everyone looks the same because everyone levels up and just puts on the newest thing.
Yeah.
So that's why I hate battle passes. But Reach's wasn't like that. There was like tiers. You'd reach a level and you'd unlock like 10 chests, 5 helmets or whatever, and you'd have your credits and be like, which one do I want? I'll buy this one.
Yeah.
And on top of that, Reach had like badass military ranks then led up to like Halo specific military ranks.
Yeah, that's true.
And its freaking player cards were awesome. In it, like, another thing I just wish was back in gaming in general, pre and post game lobbies. In those lobbies, you would have your list of players on the side, and if you hovered over someone, you would see their full Spartan there. You could look at them, turn them around, see their whole like outfit, see their recent achievements, see how many freaking kills they have, their best weapon, their freaking skulls, highest difficulty campaign unlocked, how many elites they killed.
Yeah.
Like, why do we not see cool shit anymore? Why do we hate fun?
Yeah, I don't know. Back in the good old days, I guess.
Back when gaming was prime.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah. All right. I don't know if you have anything else, but I think we're pretty close to done then.
Yeah, those are my main things. Basically, if it comes into rotation, play the Halo CE Anniversary Reach playlist. It's so good.
Yep. All right. Well, that was fun. We will be back next week with our regular episode, news and updates and all that's going on in gaming and movie, TV news, all that stuff. So stay tuned, keep listening, and keep enjoying the podcast and keep supporting us.